Shalom, I'm Lars Enarsson, speaking to you from Israel, from our house of prayer in the Negev, just a few miles from the border of Gaza. We're here praying for the war that is taking place there right now, which is very, very important. And we ask all of you who watch this to join us in prayer. The disengagement from Gaza in 2005 was one of the most tragic mistakes ever made in modern Israeli history. It has caused a terror state to be formed in Gaza. Instead of them creating a Palestinian state like they envisioned from the Israeli political leadership when they forced all of the Israeli citizens out of Gaza, there has been a terror fortress that has plagued Israel from the very first day. Last night, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that we are now in the process of undoing the disengagement from Gaza. The Israeli army is deeply involved in a ground operation, and we need to pray for them that they will succeed. Whatever happens in Israel will also has its ramifications in the nations and especially in the church. When the Jewish people were forced out of Gaza in 2005, it brought about also an invasion of, I would say, deception that came into the church that has been very strong in the last 10 years almost. And when we are praying now that Israel will be able to root out the terror that has established itself in Gaza, it is going to have ramifications all over the world. In Joel chapter 2, the prophet Joel, we know the famous scripture there in verse 28, that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. What precedes that verse is that there is a call to fasting and prayer for Israel that will bring about God's mercy and redemption to this land. And in verse 27 it says, then you will know that I am in the midst of Israel, and thereafter I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. So when we fast and pray for God to be revealed in Israel, that Israel will be successful in their battle against their enemies, the church will also be successful in the spiritual battle against its enemies. And this is, of course, going to culminate in the full restoration and salvation of Israel when the Messiah will come and the Spirit will be poured out upon all flesh in its fullness. But until then, we have to pray in this process of restoration that is now taking place. So the battle that is taking place in Gaza right now is a battle not against flesh and blood primarily. It's not against the Palestinians per se. It's against a spiritual giant that is enlarged in Gaza, that is about to pull the world into an abyss. If it is not stopped here, where the Battlefront is right now, as you see in the background, the hills overlooking Gaza, just a few miles from here, if the battle is not stopped by Israel here, it is going to threaten the entire world. And so therefore we need to pray that God will be with the armies of Israel and that they will be successful in rooting out the terror. We have to understand this is a very difficult task. The experts believe that Hamas is able to stay on fighting for between 4 to 6 weeks. And Israel has to go about in a very determined and dangerous way, basically house to house, to expose the terror cells, to take out the weapons, to destroy the tunnel system that they have built to attack Israel from. And this is going to take time. And we need to pray that God is going to be giving the leadership in Israel, the Israeli army, the wisdom and the success in this battle. Because we are involved as prayer warriors in this just as much as the soldiers on the ground. when Jacob returned from Laban to come back into the land again, which is a picture of the Jewish people returning after 2,000 years from the diaspora, it says that the angels of God met him, and he called them Mahanaim, the place Mahanaim, because it means two camps. There are two camps that are involved in this battle, and it is the forces on the ground, the physical forces on the ground, which is the Israeli army, but it's also the praying army of believers involving the hosts of heaven, the angelic powers. And stay with us as we are going to report on a daily basis now from the battle that is taking place right here, just a few miles from me. Last night we could hear the explosions going on continually. Right now it's not so much noise here in the background, but we are here on the forefront, on the battleground, and we are praying, we're fasting, we're believing God for a breakthrough, and we're calling all the intercessors around the world to join us in this very, very important battle. Because if Israel does not take out terror now, it is going to come back manyfold in strength to terrorize the entire nation. Right now, about 5 million citizens here in Israel, they're running to bomb shelters continually every day, and because of the rockets that are being fired from Gaza. Israel has to win this war. It is a supernatural war. It is a spiritual battle, and we need to be involved and praying right now for the success of the Israeli army. God bless you, and stay tuned. We're coming back again with more reports on a daily basis here from the battlefront. Shalom from Israel.